You seem so far away, and I just need to hear your voice. I just need to hear you say, if you would have me go or stay. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Girl in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you.
I saw your face, and I felt our souls embrace.
If it's not meant to be this way, why do you haunt me night and day? Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you.
I'm calling out.
Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower, I'm reaching out. Please tell me what to do. Here in the tower, I'm calling out. My heart cries out for you. Girl in the tower. Here in the tower.
Even now, in a place that's so lonely, there's a fire so strong. It feeds from my thoughts and it changes my words. It changes my vision, but it takes so long to get through. Bundle of nails, a shake when I'm talking. My trembling fingers finding all too much to bear. A bundle of nails is set for the taking. I need to stop shaking. Listen and you'll hear the heartbeat of a universe teeming with force. See all the forms and the faces of nature taking its course. And feel all the wonderful motion flowing through things far and near. Nature will share her secrets when we are ready to hear. Energy, these are a few of your faces, glowing in timeless places, bringing our lives new graces. Energy, there is no living without you. We must keep learning about you. Now is the time to find how to. Energy, you are profound. You make the world go round and round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round.
Thank you, Energy. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're having a good evening. Thank you for joining me. John Martin, thank you so much for 3 months. Appreciate it. Thank you for partaking in the energy. Hope you're well. Dean Bowling, thank you so much for 24 months. Oh my gosh. 2 years. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your Mike McQuanchy badge. Yes, I am also excited for many more. Man, yeah, the memory of moving was listening to Nintendogs for the first time packing. There you go. Thank you, Dean Bowling. Appreciate that. Discount Long. Thank you for 22 months. Really appreciate that. Hope you're having a great evening. Thank you. Q. But no. Thank you for the Stream Streak Beef Hammer. Thank you for 37 months. My goodness. Yes, I did know that if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. That's interesting. If you have Amazon Prime, you can give me a Twitch Prime sub right now if you so inclined yourself to want to. That's not a sentence. Austin Bailey, thank you for 12 months. Look at these milestones. 12 months. Congratulations on your spicy bubble. Austin Bailey, thank you so much. And Sophie Sphere, thanks for following. Hey, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Looking to have a chill night. Gonna finally check out that Diablo 2 class they added a month ago or so. Excuse to play some Diablo 2, which I am always wanting to do. Let your tier 3 drive banner in Overwatch. Nice. Do you play Star Fox 64 on Switch 2 or 3DS? That's a good question. I would play the decompiled version, frankly. You're promised the lead on this character? That's awesome. I'm so excited. I mean, I like all Diablos, but Diablo 2 is so much more special to me than all the other ones. And it's so cool that this class is going to be in Diablo 4 as well. Just setting up here. That too. Sign Guy Bubsy for 38 months. My goodness, Sign Guy Bubsy. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. My mic is... One second. I mean, the game's loud for sure. Yeah, we don't need to see this right now. As great as it is. God, I hate when there's not a master volume sound thing. Okay. I should really not be that low. I'm going in yellow. Let me look. Yeah, it got low. What is doing that? It is so annoying. Alright, that should be better again. It's not even the gain, it's just Windows. I don't know how to make Windows stop doing that. I gotta figure something out. What is doing that? It's always something new and fun and exciting with this shit. That's a copilot fixing, yeah. Is it too low now? Like, might be a little too low. Maybe like that. We'll see. We know that is. I mean, I assume I can. I think everything's maxed out here. Ultra! Texture quality, very high. Max it all. Max! Legacy is fine. Okay. Great new. Wow, this is so many characters. Alright. Warlock. Ah, it's Diablo 2, so you don't even get to pick the genders. Troll. It's an evil. What's that name word? Troll evil. Troll evil. I like it. I really have no idea what this guy's about, honestly. Looks cool though. I'm curious what makes him different from a sorceress and a necromancer.
Good day.
And you just get thrown into it, man. I should be good there.
Oh, greetings, stranger. I'm not surprised to see your kind here. Many adventurers have traveled this way since the recent troubles began.
Yeah, I do like the levitating
No doubt
sword.
you've heard about the tragedy that befell the town of Tristram. Well, some say that Diablo, the Lord of Terror,
Do I know who did the
walks
voice?
world
No.
Again. I don't know if I
Matt
believe
Mercer.
that, but a dark wanderer did travel this route a few weeks ago. He was headed east to the mountain pass guarded by the rogue monastery.
Fire her, who's that?
Maybe it's nothing, but evil seems to have trailed in his wake. You see, shortly after the wanderer went
Oh
through,
God, what have I
the
done?
monastery's gates to the pass were closed.
How have I embarrassed
Strange
myself?
creatures began
I should have just
ravaging the
Googled and
countryside.
pretended.
Until it's safer outside the camp and the gates are reopened, I'll remain here with my caravan.
Anyways. Mr. Saros? It's really cool just adding a character to this game. Alright. Gotta scroll down, gotta scroll town portal. First thing you do, well first you have to push this. First thing you want to do is just get out there. See what we got. The randomized maps. What is the, what's the legacy button? What turns on the old graphics? Which is fun that you can do that. Actually, the new graphics look great. But it is fun that, can switch between them. D. Oh, you can't do it with the Warlock. I guess that makes some sense. I guess part of me wonder, like, so did they make, like, all the old sprites for a Warlock? No, they did not. Okay. A little disappointing, but it's not the most shocking thing in the world. There should be a way to put this as, like, a mini-map. This is like a second expansion, yeah. I get it. I get it. A smidge disappointing, but I get it. Toggle mini map B. It's not working, huh?
Not in town.
Got your chickens. Let me know if the sound is good, everybody.
These creatures of darkness shall yield to me,
Maybe.
or perish.
I would like someday to play through this game through a hell mode difficulty playthrough. Yeah, new Diablo 4 expansion's pretty soon, which will also have Warlock. The Paladin's already been out. I was kind of playing this as like a good getting ready for that Warlock release. First thing we have to do is find the Den of Evil. I have played Act 1 of Diablo 2 many times. You could sell shit still. Character's so good that Game to Hell is very easy, really. Is he overtuned? Well, that was easy. That's one of the easiest Den of Evils I've ever seen. Part of me's like, thinks I should grind a little bit. Let's just go to Den of Evil level 1. Let's explore first moment here. I'm telling you, man, this is my... I kind of dislike in the newer Diablo games just how spammy it gets right away. I want to click on people a little bit. I know I'm going to get some abilities, but I don't know. I like clicking on people and swinging a sword at them. The new games, it's like your cooldowns are only like 2 seconds. You have 15 things. You're just constantly raining down plagues and fireballs and satans and just a million things. I think Dan would do this. Dan liked... I don't know how much of this one Dan's played. Dan liked Diablo like 4. I feel like the way this guy looks a lot. Like cracked guitar and stuff for me. Yeah, Diablo 3 was a lot of fun on Switch. Alright. I mean... What are my important stats? I assume it's... I mean, energy and vitality will always be important. Is it strength? Maybe I should look at my abilities first. Alright, so there's Chaos, Eldritch, and Demon. An item has given me this ability, apparently. Fires of both darkness. Releases a cloud of entropy. So, this looks like just your basic magic tree. What's Eldritch all about? Move your ability to levitate your equipped weapon with your mind. Okay. This is all about kind of weapon levitation stuff, I guess. Siphon, huh? Hey, Matt, thank you for 40 months. 40 is a good number. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I don't want energy. Alright, so he does summon. He still has a summoning tree, which is interesting. I don't know if I want to do the summoning tree, just because that seems a little familiar. Create a tear in the fabric of reality which pulls enemies close and before violently collapsing. Boy, I think I want this Abyss spell really bad. And Apocalypse. I think we'd probably just do Chaos for this first one, right? I mean, this seems fun. I don't know why I wouldn't want energy if I'm going to be casting spells, though. I could respect down the road, but you can only do that like once per playthrough, right? I think. I mean, yeah, at some point here, if I really want to, I could just look at what I'm supposed to do. My weapons... I'm not even sure what... I'm taking my Google real quick. Diablo 2 Warlock stats. Hey, Raven, thank you for... what? Oh, look at that. 3 months in advance right away. Thank you so much, Raven. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Good to have you here. A little strength and dex for armor, the rest in vitality. All strength if you have balls. Okay. So strength and dex is almost more for gear. Looks like vitality. Looks like no energy. You know what? I know why. In general, people think you shouldn't put much in energy in Diablo 2 because you just have mana potions. Generally, that's how that works. So I don't know. Let's do. Why not? Thank you, hero. Did the Irish Who Wants to Be a Millionaire go free? I am kind of glad more people can see that because it was very funny. Take this, zombie. 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 Be. 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 Hey. In your head. Oh, let's use a spell. Chew. Yeah, got him. I can flip that shield. Proud GB premium member, hell yeah, thank you. I will say, like, of all the times I played Diablo 2, I actually don't usually use the magic classes too much. Like, the first time I played Diablo 2, which was my most memorable time playing it, was a barbarian, which, yeah. Not a ton of mana management happening there. Oops, I need to do that. Get one more level. Then we'll go into the Den of Evil. Are we gonna get a pragmatic launch? Like, probably. We'll talk about content plans next Monday. When's that come out? Is that next week? Oh shit! Quick, give me people to shoot at. I hate when you get a shrine and you don't have anyone to shoot. Maybe I should get in the Den of Evil real quick with this. Come on. Launchathon? I don't think Launchathon's sticking.
Another Den of Evil? Let's root them all out.
I always liked the little things they say when they walk into the Den of Evil. Sometimes there's like that. So like in the Den of Evil, you have to kill every enemy in here. It's the first mission. And sometimes there's always like one guy you just can't find. Yeah, so far I feel pretty freaking strong. Yeah, Diablo 2 is just... This is actually a very cozy game for me.
I need mana.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way original Diablo 2 looks, but they captured that look really well with the remake. They did a good job. Okay. New skill. Ooh, Ring of Fire. That sounds fun. A passive. I do like passives. Sure. Substats. Ooh. Ooh. Pretty early to get an amulet, isn't it? Did it make you mad that they ripped you off by calling their basement Den of Evil? Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Look at these guys. They look cool as hell. Damn. Stop that. I don't know if I should be picking everything up yet or if I should be picky. Oh shit. Guy's cold, enchanted. Spectral hit. Ah shit, I've been freaking poisoned. Okay, just resing, stop that. Get him, sword. There we go. That was an eagle orb. Or service only. Man, we don't have Decker King yet, so we're gonna have to inspect all this stuff with scrolls for a while. Turn the King soundtrack, hell yeah. Try not to cry during Into the West. Hey, we did it.
Evil of this place departs with me.
It's not evil anymore. That's good. But I'm still evil. That's why that departs with me. That's a cool guy thing to say. Start with the fire build. Okay, I was gonna get that ring of fire skill. So I'll probably do that. I don't know what this charm is. Charms are pretty good. Turn. Oh right, run. God, forget about this shit, man. How do you even do that? Let's see. Try to be a gameplay thing, auto run or something. No, I guess it's just a button. Put the little icon on the stamina bar. Yeah, but there's got to be a button for it too, so I don't have to click that icon all the time. There we go, control. Oh my god. It's a hold down control. Are you insane, game? Come on. Toggle. There it is. That's much faster. I said that's good. Who's the next quest? Let's get a reward. Forget who to talk to.
Good day to you.
Hi, Geed.
I am a cop. You have cleansed the den of evil. You've earned my trust.
Let's try to get a skill point for
and will
this.
yet restore my...
So this is the fire stuff, huh? Fire at level 6.
Welcome, Outlaw. My rogue scouts have just reported an
Yes, we're going to the monastery. I remember. Always like that. Feels good. Structure of this game's just good. The 6 quests and the axe.
Good evening.
There's, there you are.
Hi there. I'm...
who sells the scrolls of identity?
Good evening.
What's the best barbecue meat? It depends. I mean, I think the most bang for your buck is pork shoulder. It's really good. It's very cheap. Brisket's a brisket. It's always incredible. Beef ribs, though. Beef ribs are very good.
The Order welcomes you.
Aha, it's you. Yeah, I gotta buy... I don't have gold. Damn. Oh my god, I have no gold. Plus 3 mana, that's not a very good charm. I don't think I can. Yeah, I can't afford the identity book yet. Still can't. That's okay. Get that later. Can get back out there. Yeah, I know what all this stuff is. Alright, we'll level up again soon too. The Bloodmoor. Feels like most of this game happens in Act 1 and 2. Act 3 and 4 always goes by so fast comparatively. Act 5's pretty beefy. The expansion. Take that, little rat. I still feel like I should be able to put the mini-map in the corners. I don't know why that's not working. It even says like center auto map, fade auto map, toggle mini map V. When I push V, nothing happens. I don't know what that's about. Push it with that. I push it here. Oh well. I can't address the transparency. Flavy.
Beware. Beyond lies mortal danger for the likes of you.
Thanks
Take
for the
care.
warning.
The corrupted rogues in the wilderness ahead.
This is the right way.
I need a key.
Yeah. Which video game potion tastes the best? I have always wanted to try the Diablo potions, but I don't think anything tastes good in Diablo world. I imagine like a Final Fantasy elixir must be pretty tasty. Estus Flask. Again, does anything taste good in Dark Souls world? No. That's right, there actually is stamina for running. There it is. I missed. I got something missing with that. Oh, there's stamina. So much stamina. We'll never run out of stamina again. Boy, I am not getting lost. I'm just keep going to the right place.
Undead make for such poor servants.
Oh, it's throwing shade at the necromancer.
Join my army of
There she
the
is.
dead.
No, I won't do that. Got him. Adds 1 to 2 fire damage. It's not a bad charm. I've watched. There's. I can't remember their name now. There's somebody on YouTube I was watching is doing a lot of Diablo II challenge runs, like beating the game only leveling each of the stats, like only leveling dexterity, only leveling vitality, things like that. Hello.
I can hardly
All right.
believe that you've
I never
defeated
used these people
Bloodraven.
very much, but I guess they can
Though
be
she
useful.
was once my closest friend, I pray that her tortured spirit remains banished forever.
Blah, 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 blah. You're welcome. Normally when these people die the first time, I don't bother reviving them.
Where can I take you?
Funky Town!
Good to see you.
Yeah. I do need a heavy bell at some point here. Well, I don't remember the original game separating things like this. Is this a Warlock expansion thing? This seems new. I never mess around too much with like the runes and the Haraja Cube in this game. I think that's more of a Nightmare in Hell thing. This is from the new version. That's neat. I haven't got a new weapon yet. No, there you are.
It is clear that we are facing an evil difficult to comprehend, let alone combat. There is only one
Hell yeah, let's
Haradrim
get him.
sage, schooled in the most arcane history
Deckard
in
Cain.
Lore, who could
I love
advise
Deckard
us.
Cain. What a
His
top
name
tier
is
video game
Deckard
character.
Cain. You must go to Tristram and find him, my friend.
How do I do that? Go through the underground passages of dark wood. Thirst for the tree of Inifis and recover skull. Stay a while and listen. Stay a while and listen. Oh, we can afford the book.
Good day.
God, I need to listen to that Deckard Cain rap again. It's been too long. Should I go in the mausoleum? I think it's just optional. I don't think so. I think we're fine. We're doing okay. There's other better places to grind. Yeah, the killing off the Diablo 3 story is not good. Focuses on a lot of uninteresting, weird characters that just also get killed off. That is on. A couple of the D2 characters appeared for. More minor ones. Because, Duriel's not around, right? Duriel hasn't shown up in a while. I think I actually get to this place from this main area again. Yeah, the Diablo 3 expansion was definitely the best part of Diablo 3 in terms of a lot of things. But yeah, like that had a better villain, better story. It was the best act in the game. Reaper of Souls did a lot of good. Material's like the new Archangel of Judgment or something. Not Judgment, I forget what it was. But also he's not an angel, he's still a human again. I don't know, whatever. Well, its 4 story was fine, yeah. I don't think the first expansion story was kind of... It was okay. It's just kind of weird because it's clearly, you know, not an ending of anything. It's like, I hope this next expansion has a pretty decent finale. Like, you can keep telling more stories. And, I don't know, it seems like, obviously at some point they want Diablo to be in Diablo 4, so we have to build up to that at some point. But hopefully all this Mephisto stuff at least will end in that expansion. I don't think... Is the cave where I'm... It's an underground passage I'm looking for. I think that's different than the cave. Yeah, that's different. I think it's glowing. Cave. Oh shit. Gotta make good on the experience shrine while we can. That's what I wanted. I'm a little scared. I don't really have any AoE yet. There's the stony field thing that I need to find the teleportation thing for later. Good to see that. Oh shit. My gloves is broken. About that. Nice.
I would give to know how these stones came to be.
Oh, I've leveled up, but I want to keep killing things while I have this experience shrine. Come on, give me something. Oh, it's gone. Okay. Next level, I can get Ring of Fire. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Let me go back to town before I use that.
I'll put that to good use.
That's a yellow ring already. Extra gold. That's not bad. Oh, this is the Warlock offhand, huh? Cool. Level 6. I am not that level yet, but I will be soon. This sucks.
What you need?
Keep this with me. I'll be able to use that soon. Stay with this. Buy some more scrolls of identification.
Hello.
Just looking for the secret passageway. She leveled up. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Forget how to switch between my spells. Oh great, my guy. How did my person die? What happened? Eh. Hey, Goof Troop, thank you for 5 months. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, this soundtrack is so freaking good. Oh, F1. Skill tree, skill, speed bar. S. Well, whoa, I forgot that's a thing. There we go. Oh, I have a summon Goatman spell right now, apparently. Whatever. Pushes enemies away, huh? Okay, now I can. Here you are. And Davis 110919. Thank you so much for 5 months. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Ducky. Hope you have a great weekend. Appreciate it. Alright, my stats. Ah, found it. Nice. Look at this proggies. That's fun. Oh, it does a lot. MP, so save that for when there's a lot of people, I'm guessing. Not much light radius. Welcome, David. Oh, good potions. Goatman's doing some work, I'm not gonna lie. Jesus, that's pretty powerful, huh? Oh, preserved head, fun. Yeah, it's pretty strong. Just gotta have the mana potions to support it, and you can go with that for a while. Speaking of, I have too many mana potions. Oh, the weird thing about this game is that you can just, I think anyways, if I remember correctly, you can't just town portal in the middle of bosses. You can kind of just, you can brute force a lot of things by just making trips back to town and constantly buying more potions or whatnot. Potion.
I'm overburdened.
Forget who you talk to in town to get healed. Probably the lady.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Magic Person makes sense. Maybe I should try to just go buy a heavy belt. I can equip more potions. I forget what resets her inventory. Go ahead and gamble for one. Good old Geed. Gosh. Come on, Geed. Give me a heavy belt. Come on, Geed. Come on, Geed, I need ya. I need Geed. Do I just do sash and that can be a heavy belt? I don't think so. I think it needs to be a heavy belt. But I might be wrong. That's just a light belt. Light belt is not enough, I don't think. I mean, I don't even know if heavy belts show up yet. I might not be cool enough. Yeah, I might not be getting heavy belt rolls yet. That's okay. We'll just keep going. Alright. Kind of made a big circle here. Probably more of a this way. Yeah, glad to do some streaming tonight. This weekend I'm going to be at Grubs. We're going to start recording the Bully endurance run. Won't be able to stream much more this weekend. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Grub's been setting things up, so I'm sure things will be good. They better be! I won't forget the tub of mustard. Yeah, after we do this, gonna go to bed. And in the morning, just pack up for just spending a night there. Yeah, we're just gonna basically record a bunch on Saturday and Sunday, so we can hopefully get a lot of it done. It's a good thing. I'm glad we're doing like more of a 30-hour game and not a 80-hour game. That'd be harder. I don't think I want this sigil. I guess one more Ring of Fire so I can get Flame Wave. The neat thing about that's the other thing, like all the Diablo games, it's like, I don't know, you kind of expect you to use like 4 or 5 abilities. Diablo 2, you can kind of just use a couple of them. You're pretty good a lot of the time. When are you guys announcing the game you're playing? I think, I mean, we kind of have. It's Bully. I don't know if there's been like some formal announcement, but it's Bully. But both Jeff and I have never played it somehow, so it'll be fun. I want to see if he'll take me. Maybe he'll take me to that Top Golf by him. I think Jeff and I might do like a YouTube short or something too to announce Game Message Game of the Year 2025. We just never had a chance to do that either. It'll be interesting, because I bet we're going to really like Bully, even though I don't think either of us are giant Grand Theft Auto people. And I like Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 a lot. I think Jeff likes the first one okay and does not like the second one. I joined the channel Keywork. Keywork. This underground tunnel is long. You know what's weird? It's like I always struggle to remember other 2000 games. Like, this is a 2000 game. There's some years where I can name so many games. 2000, there's this, and like I feel like a lot of sequels. Like I bet Resident Evil 3 was in 2000. Majora's Mask was 2000. I mean, this is a sequel also. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, I bet, like, one of the Spyros, I mean, I think Spyro Year of the Dragon came out. Was Deus Ex in 2000? Really? That's a big one. Was Final Fantasy 9 was probably in 2000, or was it 99? I think it was 2000. Conquer was either 2000 or 2001. I bet like Banjo-Tooie was 2000. 10 was 2001 for... Oh, here we go. Well, good. What are we supposed to do here again? Search for the tree of Inufus and recover the scroll. Oh, yeah. Dreamcast was actually... That's right, Dreamcast was already a thing, but like... which Dreamcast games were in 2000? Maybe like Skies of Arcadia and Jet Grind Radio. Power Stone 1 would have been 1999. And that's a good ability, man.
I am overburdened.
Sonic Shuffle. Was Age of Empires 1 in 2000? Yeah, it's like there's a lot of good games for sure. I just... It's not an all-timer year. It's not. Ours is Capcom 2. Boy, that or this might have been my favorite game of 2000.
What you need?
Yeah, 2001 was a much bigger year. PS2 is going, and you have the GameCube and Xbox launches. So yeah, you have like Halo, Final Fantasy X. Oh, look at that. We'll take that. PSO was 2000. I played a lot of PSO, man. I liked PSO a lot. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The old Halo campaigns, I'd like to sometime. Maybe when campaign Vault comes out, I'll do that. In fact, the only campaigns I've beaten is Halo 1, Reach, and Infinite. There's a lot I haven't done. You have a question about the GB jersey? Have you, like, held it? It looked like it would... I have not. Jeff's... So the jerseys were made before my time, really. It's something we kind of had stockpiled that we were able to sell finally once we got things settled. Grub's held them, but I have never actually held one of the jerseys myself, I'm afraid, so I can't really speak to them. Oh, hi, hey, Dragar, what would you like for me to text Jeff Grubb? Yeah, I mean, I could do Halo 2 co-op with, like, AJ or Grub or something at some point. Hey, Jeff, with the GPU... Yeah. Hey, Jeff. Dragar wants to know if the Giant Bomb jersey would be good for running. Is it light and awesome? There you go. He might be asleep. He's an old man. Does Grub still skip for exercise? I don't know. I think it was bad for his ankles. It's also wild in this game how long you can go with, like, kind of the same weapon. Like, and I actually really like that. I actually hate how often in the modern loot games you're just constantly getting upgrades to the point they don't feel like anything. Like, I haven't even gotten boots yet, and it's fine. I haven't gotten a single new weapon, and once I do get a new weapon, it'll be really cool. I'll be very excited. I don't need 5 new weapons every time I go into a dungeon, and I'm constantly upgrading and, yeah, fiddling around with shit. It's annoying. Looking at the... So they have to just put green arrows so you know. Otherwise, you don't even care to look anymore because it's obnoxious. I don't know. Maybe I'm old man yelling at clouds. But I think I'm right, damn it. Oh, shit. Got a yellow. Wait, was Ridge Racer Type 4 2000? Or I think it's actually 99. It was Type 4. Yeah, it's fucking Druid only, right? Cool. Type 4 is 99. That's what I thought. It's hard for a lot of those years around then to compete with 98. Just, like, you know, getting Metal Gear Solid and Ocarina of Time in 1 year. It was just a bunch of other things. It's just pretty wild. Along with, like, Grim Fandango, Resident Evil 2, Pokemon in the US. There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man that I want to be. What does he care if the world's got problems? Okay. That was easy. Okay, is this a new area? I don't think so. What's one of the worst years of games? Is 2014 the year that, like, Dragon Age Inquisition was winning a lot of Game of the Year awards? Because, yeah, definitely that. Like, nothing against that game, but it should not be Game of the Year. +3 defense, +2 dexterity. Okay. What year likely produced the most Blight Club worthy games? It's almost certainly a PS1 year. Probably like 98 or 99. It's actually probably somehow also 98. probably look. Oh, Jesus. Alright, I don't think we need to worry about this +3 mana charm. Let's keep it just in case, but I doubt I'm going to be using that. Attack will take some damage. Sure. That's just so much more defense. We gotta use that. We'll sell this, make a pretty penny from that. I mean, I looked at Dreamcast games before, and it's like, it's kind of shocking. I think there are some things that, yeah, that probably makes sense, but weren't like a lot of like obviously terrible games. Okay. Whoops. Give me that back. Musashi Samurai Legend. That's not Brave Fencer Musashi related, is it? Nah, wait a second. I know Sonic Adventure's not for everybody, but it's not Blight Club. No. There's some other Sonic games, but not poor Sonic Adventure. Come on. Look, I like Sonic Adventure. Oh. See, I don't know. If you're talking about the PS Musashi games, is that really supposed to be that bad? I thought it was always supposed to be fine. I know people don't like it as much as the first one. Yeah, I want to do the CDI roulette at some point here pretty soon. I think that'd be a ton of fun. You know, nobody wants to get the bad one. The really bad one. I mean, to me, the other Blight Club Sonic games that are left are like Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. I don't know. Sonic 4 is really bad, but it's kind of boring. I don't think it'd be any fun to watch. Are the Wii ones that bad? I think they're just, I don't know, maybe. Man, this Goatman's been doing work, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe I should keep leveling him up as well. Kind of helps. I think, nah, I've always heard that the BioWare DS Sonic game is just kind of disappointing. It's kind of bland. It's just not very ambitious. I never heard it was terrible. I never really had any interest in playing it myself. You would just expect so much more because it was BioWare. Okay, remember, if Tomoe Highland is overshooting this thing, because this tree is somewhere in the dark wood. Wait, I'm in the Black Marsh, not the dark wood. When did that happen? Oh, Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed has defenders, but I definitely think they overstate its quality. Hey, K-Shlunk, thank you so much for 29 months. Appreciate that. Oh, here we go. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I overshot it. Tree's in here somewhere. I mean, it's hard for the other Sonic games to compete with Sonic 06. Sonic 06, I think the only one is Rise of Lyric. Otherwise, Sonic 06 is just so spectacularly bad that it's incredible, right? It is the game that can launch Blight Club. because it's terrible and it's fascinating. It's like, it's ugly, it's glitchy, it's weird, it's stupid, it's baffling. It's just, you want to watch it. It's terrible, but you can't look away. It has a weird Final Fantasy opening cutscene that's like really well made, but has nothing to do with Sonic, and it just seems like it's from a different franchise. There's just so much about it, man. Gotta love that spell. Blago 6 has the worst loading of any game, maybe any game. Yeah, it's insane, the loading in that. That alone is a crime. What bad film to game adaptations do you hope could be played on Blight Club that hasn't been touched yet? Good question. There's a Men in Black PS1 game that I think only came out in Europe that's kind of like a Resident Evil clone. It looks really bad. I feel like there's got to be a couple other ones I've seen. How's the ant bully? I don't know. Surprisingly, none of the Disney ones are, like, terrible enough. There's a lot of mediocre Disney, like, movie-to-game adaptations. But there aren't, like, any terrible ones that would be great for Play Club. And it's a little disappointing because I would like to make somebody play one. Or it'd be funny if I had to play it. I like Mickey's. I like the Magic Kingdom game for NES. That's Capcom, for crying out loud. Come on. Trash? That's Capcom. I had that game. I played that game so long ago. I think that game's still fun. I wonder if this is the run that game. Yeah, Home Alone. There's some bad Home Alone. I think we have. Didn't we have somebody play one of the Home Alone games? Though I watched somebody play it recently. That's it. I was doing research. Charlie's Angels has come up before. That might happen sometime. The great inscrutable trash? No way. I think even before I've seen what I've seen in Blight Club, no way. But if you have experienced what I've experienced now, no. Look, I'm not trying to say that that game is like one of the best NES games or something, but it's fun. Where's this fucking tree? Better than Mickey Mouse Capades, even. Which, again, not a terrible game, but not a great game. There is a bad Batman game in the GameCube. It was actually an earlier Blight Club. I think it's one of the underrated Blight Clubs. It was a little bit early and kind of got sandwiched between some big ones, but yeah, that was when we dressed. Oh, nice. We dressed Grub up as Batman, and it was really funny. That was Batgrub, and I actually liked that series a lot. I kind of want to level up my goat, man. Yeah, Dark Tomorrow. That was a bafflingly bad game. That game does not get enough. Doesn't get talked about enough. The Wrecking Ball was the best part. You had to, like, bathtub people when you killed them for some reason. Oh, right, my sword's dead. I always know so little about Spawn. Steel Battalion for Connect would be funny someday. I think. I like Fallout. I don't know that much about Brotherhood of Steel. I didn't know if it was supposed to be that bad or not. I thought maybe more mediocre. I will say that there is a game that I think is a more relatively well-known bad game that we haven't done yet that I would really like somebody to play in this upcoming round. part of me is like, is the +1 to miasma bolt too important to put this better weapon on? Probably. I don't know.
What you need?
Charlie's Excellent Adventure. I think I've heard of that before. I mean, I think we just put this on. I guess I could see if there's anything she has that I want. Her shit's usually so expensive. There are a lot of undead. I see him sometimes a little bit of like a, I wanna find the weapons. I don't wanna buy them. That's cheating.
Good evening.
I really don't feel like gambling. Keep going. Devil's Third. I mean, Jeff has Devil's Third now, right? Somebody sent it to us. So, I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. Where's this fucking tree? Like in this little clearing. Nice. This weapon definitely seems better, I have to say. Warlock's fun, I'm liking it. Playing it as a spellcaster right now, which has been working just fine. Man, how have I not found the tree? Might be here. You cooked. Oh. He's kicked that spaghetti. Just remember Tomodachi. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I actually never heard of that one until it showed up. What is this? Looks like just like a spaghetti with pepper sauce kind of a thing. It looks good. Wait, this is the tree. Wait, I was right here. I'm stupid.
Such an old tree. Pity its fruits are just this scroll.
Oh, okay. Alright, so now we can go back to the other trees. We'll go to Tristram, we'll party, it's gonna be great. Whoa, man, too bad we're in Paladin. That's a lot of stuff. Oh, Atari Jaguar definitely has bad games. I don't know if we bought like a used Atari Jaguar at some point in my life. I think my parents got rid of it. I have no idea where that is. It's with a virtual boy we used to have somewhere, unfortunately. I think the tree's actually in the stony field, right? I remember finding this clearing pretty quickly. Is it? It's here. No, of course not. God, like we did not have much. The only game I remember having for our Jaguar was that Pitfall reboot that was on everything else at that point anyway, so. Pitfall the Mine Adventure or whatever. No, wrong way. Yeah, it did have a not very good version of Rayman. Did that version even come out, or is that just in a development version of Rayman? I can't remember. Too bad, apparently, that Rayman 1 remaster, like, just changed the music for no reason. There it is. Snowbike Mike, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Still doing that Majora's Mask, I believe. Hope you've been having a good time. I've been lurking every once in a while. Hope you're doing well. We're playing Diablo 2. Checking out that Warlock class added to the game not too long ago. Yeah. I did order a Super Station. Mine's not coming in yet. Mine's kind of being held up because of the dock backup. So I don't know when I'm getting mine. I can barely see these symbols on this thing. Yeah, you got that email as well. Can't remember what I'm supposed to actually make of this. Oh, I gotta show it to her, of course. How do those town portals look? Yeah, I really want my Super Station. I have a bunch of PS1 games I want to play through for the first time here. Mega Man Legends 2, Threads of Fate, I gotta do Parasite Eve 2 at some point. All sorts of stuff. Silent Bomber. Got some lay hidden gems.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, the Super Station doesn't have, like, the UI yet, so part of me's not too worried about waiting a little. Parasite Eve 1 is fantastic. I mean, there's always... PS1 emulation's pretty good. Pretty good.
Good day.
Oh, did you look at my thing? Okay. There we go. Now, where's the... Here. Here. Wait, that's this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we get the Dave Decker cane. Best part of the game. That's right, Jesus. Alright, thanks. This is always a really cool part when you go back to Tristram.
This is what happens when half-measures are taken with ease.
We gotta make sure we get Wart's peg leg. We can do the cow level someday. Better. You actually don't have to save Kane? Oh my god. Really? Why would you not want to save Kane though? He's the best. He's my friend. Get out of there, Kane.
Go to to the rogue's camp. Now!
I always really like the voice lines when you save Deckard Cain. Yes, so if you're on this kind of Warlock expansion, you cannot turn on classic mode, unfortunately. Which I didn't know about. It's a bit of a bummer, but it's alright. It's worth it. I mean, it makes sense. I guess they weren't going to also make this character in the old style. Where's Griswold? Fight me, Griswold. Good old Tristram. Now that I've played through Diablo 1, I'm more familiar with this layout, honestly. Can't get to the witch's hut, I assume. There he is. Man, my magic is not doing much. There we go.
I can't carry anymore.
Now these things are so big. The club. Hey, Hundo P Games, thanks for following. I appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where's Fort's body at? There he is. Give me my money. All the money I'm getting back from what he did with all the gambling on this one. I do feel bad about him being, dead. Look at that, perfect. Cain.
As a token of my gratitude, I will identify items for you at no charge.
Thanks, Cain. You owe me.
Regrettably, I could do nothing to prevent the disaster which devastated Tristram. It would appear that our greatest fears have come to pass.
You feel bad everyone's dead
Diablo,
from the first game.
Lord of Terror,
except for that witch.
has once again been set loose upon the world. As you know,
anyways, yes, I do know all of that. I played this game.
Yes?
You have risked your life to rescue Cain.
I got a ring. Good. I need another ring.
Yes?
Did we talk to Cain now?
Hello.
Talk to somebody. There you go.
When I fled the monastery, I left behind the Herodric Malice, my enchanted smithing hammer. If you can retrieve it for me, I'll use its magic to strengthen your equipment.
How did I skip a quest? I always do this. I did have fun playing through Diablo 1, even though it was very difficult because of that mod I was using. Hey, Starwind, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Hope you had a good evening. Hope you had a good time. Let me know if you're playing anything fun. We're playing some Diablo 2. Checking out the new Warlock class that was added a month or so ago. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate it. Why am I missing? I feel like you can find the other quests just out in the wild. I forget. I mean, Tools of Trade's this. This last one is just fighting Dario or whatever her name is. What is this quest? Figure it out. There's a lot left. I think for a while you kind of just gotta move it. So we'll be leveling up again. What character level? Nice. Yeah, Blizzard's doing pretty well. I'm excited for BlizzCon. I'm gonna see if I can go to it. But Overwatch is great. That new hero, Sierra, looks super cool. I'm excited for her. Seems like there's probably at least one game to announce this year. Yeah, I wish they would release some Switch 2 upgrade versions of games, including this. That's fine. Overwatch is coming to Switch 2 next week. I always forget about that. Although I don't know how much I want to play Overwatch with sticks. Yeah, this felt pretty powerful so far. Am I gonna need to level these up at some point to get Apocalypse? You're doing great there, buddy. Here, there's a little help for you. Where are my stats? I'm not caught up on the main storyline quest, but I'm still gonna watch the Fan Fest. I want to catch up, but I'm very excited to see what the new expansion is still. 14. I wish if I was deeper into it, I would have maybe made a big effort to try to go there. It is in that Anaheim Convention Center by Disneyland. It's hard to, like, play MMOs when you're a very general-purpose content creator. Because people want to watch somebody play MMOs. They generally are just going to want to watch somebody who plays MMOs, you know? Like, and that's the only thing they do. At least early on when I was starting to stream, like, if I played 14, and I would sometimes back then, it would always be my lowest viewership. It would just look like nonsense to a lot of people who know me from, like, Giant Bomb and other things who just want to see me play, you know, less involved video games. So like Diablo 2, this is very easy to understand what I'm doing. Click on monster, kill monster. What's going on down here? I played some of Warcraft 1 and 2 Remaster when they made those, and I liked them. People really criticize the new graphics of that game, which, like, rightfully so, but the old graphics were there, and they ran really well. I was really happy they did those. It seems like people didn't talk about them much. Like, you can see how the conversation got pretty dominated by the bad new HD art. And I think they did improve 3, finally, Reforged. I don't know if they improved it enough, but they did some things there. Oh, the monastery gate.
Succumbed so readily to the call of anguish.
This is important. I don't think I can get in yet. Look for the monastery barracks. I feel like Aha. I feel like I'm skipping something, but... I desperately need to find a teleportal thing. Oh, they released the classic HD setting? That's interesting. Take that, barrels. So Grover texts back. Let's see. He might be asleep. I don't think he did. If he does, I will let you know. But yeah, I think he's already asleep, unfortunately. I'll see him tomorrow, though. Yeah, there it is. Nice. Oh, we have more rings. Decker Kane. Maybe he's talking to you a lot now. Yeah, I played Warcraft 2 when it was new back at the time. I thought it was really cool. I was kind of too much of a stupid kid to be any good at it, but I thought it was super neat. Faster cast rate. I don't think I care about that. They're both faster cast rates. I mean, I'm casting pretty fast already. I'm not worried about my cast speed video game. I might need to start selling some excess potions here soon, huh? But why are my gems? Funny, these are the same ring stat-wise, but they look different in my inventory. Andy Vamp, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, AGDQ is in Atlanta, and I hope you're happy, people who are close there. I don't get to go anymore. What about me? I get it. It's a bummer. It was nice that it was here in Pittsburgh 3 years in a row. I loved it. It was so cool. But it's a bummer. Probably won't be able to go this year. But it was a good run in Pittsburgh. Hopefully it comes back sometime. Yeah, I'm still banned from Georgia ever since I raided the Coca-Cola headquarters. When they changed the color of the packaging for Coke Zero. It's pretty mad. Yeah, once someone think like, I mean, I'm sure like Atlanta is just, you know, it's a trip now. I have to think about, can I make a trip or not? Whereas Pittsburgh is very close. And gosh, I'm glad we made the most of it while I was here, though. I went every year, sometimes a couple times a week, so made the most of it when I could. Summer game done quick is still going to be in Minneapolis, I think, so that's still sticking. So I do just hope it's just them switching it up and not they have some issue with Pittsburgh now, the venue, because they were in Florida for some awesome games that quick for a while, and then they left because of, you know, Florida. Hope there wasn't a similar issue. The issue is the hotel logistics thing. That's bad though if it is an issue. They were in that hotel for 3 years. Again, it seems fine to me, but I don't know. Oh, the barracks is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, they were at the same hotel every year. It's a bummer. Bummer for Mikey's, but we will persevere. Oh, come on. Whoa, don't die. First kind of hard fight. Give me a run for my money all of a sudden there. Gotta really compare these better. Let's see which one's better. This one's doing... Is one demonic mastery all that worthwhile? I don't know. I bet also there's a few people who have maybe grumbled about being in Pittsburgh in January, which can be kind of cold. Oh, nice. Whoa, what's going on? Come on. Yeah, Alex's Big Rig run super neat. I know people are like, Mike, go do Mortal Kombat Mythologies. That game's unclicked. That would be so difficult. Dude, would not have the time or the nerve. I would have to play that game about 20 times more than I've ever played it to get consistent. And it's a very long run with a lot that can go wrong. So I had to find a way to make it marathon safe, which would mean a brand new route. No one's ever, as far as I know, no one's ever rerun that game in a marathon setting. I don't want to go to the jail yet. Big Rigs, yeah. Like those. Yeah. No shade. But Big Rigs is not a hard game. So I got boots, huh?
Good morning.
Oh, damn.
Yes?
Well, that's a lot of money. Like I'm just holding this book. That's cool. Like a Nomicon or something. Oh, I can read. Yeah, let's go buy some boots. Actually, let's go gamble, maybe. Maybe just buy some from her. Sure. Good. We got boots. Good boots. So dark here. There we go. The Smith never quite took off like the Butcher did, huh?
Let's see what the craftswoman can do with proper implements.
Guess we're going back.
Oh, thanks so much for returning the Herodric Malice. I will now imbue one of your items with magical powers.
So, I think in order to be a min-maxing SOB, you're supposed to hold on to that for basically forever. Or at least until you're in hell mode or something, I don't know.
It is certain that we face the Demon Queen Andariel, who has corrupted the Rogue Sisterhood and defiled their ancestral monastery. This does not bode well for us, my friend. Ancient Horadric...
Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'll go get her. We get some just the smaller potions out of here and sell those.
Good day.
Which one did I miss? I feel like I've missed this one before. But technically this dialogue's not... This quest isn't complete till I do this. I don't think it matters.
Simple cages for simple minds.
Whoa. I love this edgelord. Let me in. I want to kill him. Yeah, mule characters were a thing for sure. What's this shrine? Oh, that's you. That was easy. Nice. I might be really underleveled by the time I get through this act. Feels like I'm pushing through it a little fast. We always come back. Oops, accidentally. Wrong ability there. Stop that. Jesus. I'm really blasting through this. Jeez. Still have exploding potions. And healing potions.
I can't carry anymore.
Where'd all my exploding potions go? Bob is me. Thank you for 13 months. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm feeling fine again. Took a bit. I was out of commission for a bit there. I haven't been that sick in some time, but I got better. Ring of Fire is my best spell. I don't know why I wouldn't. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Was not doing. Almost did it again.
Greetings.
What is this charm? I'm probably just gonna sell that. I guess I'll put it in just in case. Don't need that. Don't need that. These. Pillard, thank you so much for 17 months. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we'll probably make it back to tonight. I mean, we basically have to find Dario. We don't need to do that one mission I skipped. I don't think. At least nothing else will beat in Dario. Alright, so I've somehow skipped the jail teleporter, but when we get to the inner cloister, there should be one. Should be soon. Dark, that's it, the Dark Tower. Yeah. I forget what the reward is, but I can always go back. The Countess could have good rune drops, that's right. Damn it, that's the worst if I don't do that. And I guess I can put that off my scroll wheel. How do I do that, though? There we go. Now I won't accidentally do that one. This is why I like having not very many spells in this game. You can just scroll through them. God, that's a good ability, man. I haven't gotten any new vinyls in a moment. Kind of like went so hard for a bit there. I got Grub of the last vinyl for his birthday, so I got him one. So I'm so selfless and nice. Still looking for that Epcot vinyl. Oh, there was our Diablo II vinyl. That'd be a cool one. There we go. Inner cloister. Right, let's find the let's find the waste marker here too. Oh, it's right there. Oh, easy. Does the Astrobot vinyl include the songs from Playroom? Because honestly, Playroom probably had better music than just Astrobot did.
Stay a while and listen.
What can I do for you?
Has a few of them. That SSD song's a banger. Oh boy. Mana burn? Yeah, I probably need to sell some of these excess potions. You want to make sure you have a stockpile. I don't need the small ones anymore, at least. I can start just worrying about having the big ones. Shit, where's my mana? Oh god, I don't have any mana potions. I guess I should. I could just run away. Killed him? Hatchet hands. What the hell's a hatchet hand?
The shadows churn with the touch of anguish.
Oh, right. Assassin's weapon. Thanks, casket. I'm gonna make sure there's useful items in my casket. Adventurers stumble upon it. If I can help them. They've added the Warlock to Diablo Infinite or whatever that's called, the mobile one as well. At least they're going to. I don't know if it's in there yet. I don't know. I don't know if many people, at least in the U.S., are still playing Diablo Infinite. Immortal? Diablo Immortal, that's it. Hey, ABC, no, this is not modded. Thank God. It is wild how much easier this is than playing that modded Diablo 1. All I wanted was an HD mod. Not even that. Yes, I just needed higher resolution. Look at these fuckers. Champion Ratman. It's like an oxymoron. Who's summoning him back? Stop that. You're in Canada? Nice. Hope you have a good time there. Always have fun in Canada. Good moment. Well, that was the wrong way. Come on. What's in this casket, though? I want that. Not yet for Immortal. Okay. Imagine however it plays in Immortal is going to be a lot more... Give us a better idea of how it's going to play in Diablo 4 than this is. I do think it's just super neat that they added in the last Diablo 2, man. This is Warlock, yep. Yeah, whenever I played Immortal, I thought it played well. It's just, you know, it is very mobile-y. Yeah, we can start selling the health potions if we have excess of those, at least.
Good evening.
Yeah, Immortals on Switch 2 would actually make a ton of sense. Okay, I guess it's over here-ish. Sometimes you find these things easy, and sometimes you don't. Oh, you guys have phones? I was there. I was at that BlizzCon. I interviewed that guy afterwards. He was a nice guy. I felt kind of bad. Hey, look, there's my interview. How about that? I'll tell you what, man, that was I was on fire at BlizzCons for a while there. That was me in my element. That was me doing the work. I thought I brought Chris, my younger brother, as my photographer, and he took a picture of, Took a picture of, Jeff Kaplan that, like, still shows up often as his headshot. So, quite a ways away from being able to use Flame Wave. That's okay. Level up. My Goatman's fine. At some point, I might just use Ring of Fire instead of Miasma. Also, this floor has a warp thing, so we need to find that. Well, these are some goopy-looking spiders. Yeah, I hope the new Jeff Kaplan game is cool. I always liked him a lot. He's always very nice. It's a rough crowd. I mean, they should not have announced the game before Diablo 4. They could have just announced both of them. Which is hard, because then it's like, well, how are you going to get people excited for Diablo Immortal, I guess? Which, I don't know. Maybe that's why you don't make a Diablo Immortal. I wonder how profitable Diablo Immortal's been. I mean, they're adding stuff to it, I guess. It's weird, because Diablo Immortal basically seems so similar to Diablo 4, really. Did this many potions always drop in this game? Yes, because you do drink them constantly. I mean, that's why. There we go. The other games went to the cooldown system, which I get. My it loses a little something too.
Good to see you.
Not be repaired on that. That's not good. Life on hit does help.
What can I do for you?
We're close. Gotta be somewhere around here. Rack. That's a nice rack. Jeez. I guess it's down here. Yep. There it is. fighting? Oh, they're cool. It's a good tank, this dude. He's not died. I think he died like one time. What's that? Does feel weird to not level up your mana, but that really is the strat. Goatman's taking damage. No, Goatman. There you go. You're fine. Dead end. Surprisingly intense fight. Night be Corliss. Yeah, so I finish up this act. That'll be it for me. Do have to get ready to go to Jeff's tomorrow. It's a nice thing about not loading up your mana is that one tiny potion restores the whole thing. This looks good. I don't know why I thought that carpet was important. It looked kind of important. It wasn't. Dead end. Ooh, money. A trap! Jeez. That was, some damage they were doing there. So I almost leveled up. Another dead end. Guys, early down here. Man, I've been having bad guesses in the catacombs. Death animations are good. I love how, like, this remake just kind of makes everything look like claymation, like Harryhausen claymation monsters, which is kind of the vibe that was there in Diablo 2 with the pre-render stuff back then, so kind of a good look. That stuff's creepy. That stuff is actually kind of creepy, so it just actually still works for being unsettling. Alright, gotta be down here somewhere. Yep, there it is. Well, part of me thinks we could go kill a couple things up here and level up and then go kill Andariel. So close. So, might not be much left.
I can't carry any more.
Yeah, someone annoyingly might have killed just about everything else. Eh, there's people down there. It's fine. The Dark Eye, it's a point-click adventure game. Uses claymation. Edgar Allan Poe. Sounds like it. Sounds good.
Good day.
What's the Grand Charm? Plus 12 to life. Lightning resist. Wait, hold on to that for a rainy day. Try and get some more gems.
Good to see you.
Wallace 101 Rand Kings, thank you so much for following. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good evening. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Yes, I did. I played through all of Heretic, and some of Hexen. I was enjoying Hexen, even with like the improvements to the map. I still was getting lost a lot in Hexen, but it was really cool. I really enjoyed those. Love Night Dive. Gotta check out some of the other ones. All right, Andariel. Maybe I should have brought more of my mana potions with me. There's that. Oh, what? Did I miss a level up at some point? Hey, Stinky, how's it going? Where are you? Oh, right, wait. Come on, heal. Heal faster. Oh, Goatman's gone. It's doing a ton of damage. Alright. Good, 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 good. What we got?
This is a great victory indeed.
Yeah, you're gonna come with me. It's gonna be great.
And Dariel's death brings about...
I like how everybody wants to talk to you. Yeah, let's bring her back. Why not? It's cheap. Plague Loss. Slows target by 25%. Knockback. Okay. Don't need that. 3 to 12. Very fast. And poison damage. These are very similar. This one sounds good.
Good day.
I want to play Deus Ex really badly too. But like, it's like I want the remaster to be good. I kind of have my doubts. I mean, is this still better? I can't imagine how. This is better for damage. I guess, how much does the demonic mastery matter? Probably not that much. Come on. Put it here just in case.
Finally, we may...
The caravan is...
Let's go east. Cutscenes did not get remastered, I think, which is both like... Did they? I can't remember. The originals looked so cool back in the day. I think maybe they remastered the opening one and that was it.
Mountains and into the vast deserts of broken lands.
It's so weird, funny, because these were the coolest looking cutscenes in the world in 2000.
That he had once been a great warrior, and that a dark and secret burden now weighed heavily upon him.
These look pretty good, but we also haven't seen any people yet.
An eternity across that arid wasteland. How long? I couldn't say. And always a dark cloud.
That's bad neck posture.
Follow us just over the horizon. Finally, the journey ended. We climbed the last bridge. There below us lay our destination. The shining jewel, Loot Lane, with a great sea beyond. We made camp that last night.
Yeah, I got 69.
Perhaps it was the warm desert wind or the sound of the ocean.
Oh, yeah, that's newer.
But for the first time in many weeks, I slept. However, the dreams returned, but these were clearly not my own. I beheld a vision of a great man, the mage, Talrasha. You were there too, Tyrael. I remember seeing you in my dream. His brethren had cornered a great demon, Baal, Lord of Destruction.
He'll be important later.
Loose upon the world. They attempted to imprison the demon within a sacred stone. Yet when their attempts failed, Talrasha selflessly volunteered to contain the demon within himself.
What could go wrong?
Completing the prison. He instructed his brethren to bind him within a tomb, buried under the sand, there to wrestle with the demon for all eternity.
Who would volunteer for such a thing?
Now you know what I seek, Marius. This is my brother. Sleep now. We set out with the dawn.
Diablo did Marius dirty. That's supposed to be your buddy. The whole
Next morning,
Marius
walked
kind
over
of
the
narrative
hill
framing of this
toward
game is so cool.
Lane. I had no idea then of the horrors that were in store for me there.
Is Tyrael good? Yeah, Tyrael's good.
Hello. Greetings, honored traveler. I am Jaren, Lord of Lut Gholein.
I had that Diablo II collector's edition. It had the DVD with the cinematics, and it came with like a Dungeons and Dragons tabletop thing with Diablo II stuff, if I remember correctly.
For some time now, we
loved that DVD though.
By an evil power that I cannot identify.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we went through a lot of potions in that fight, more than I realized. Alrighty. Of course. The PC big box. Yeah, I remember when the boxes got small. Oh, we don't even have boxes. And I was like, whoa, the boxes are small. It's crazy. I remember the weird pyramid ones for Tomb Raider. I think Final Fantasy VII might have had them also. I think IDOS did Final Fantasy VII's PC port or something like that. I can't remember. Something like that. What's a loot filter? Yeah, whatever. Good stuff. That's Act 1. Diablo 2 Resurrected. As a Warlock. This was my character I played the remake through with. Tolkoto might have been better. Tolkoto might have been better. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let's see. I am sleepy. I gotta put some laundry in the dryer. Let's go raid. Not that Will Smith. Super Battle Golf, always fun. Yeah, Act 2 is great. Act 2 is beefy. I think it's the longest act in the game, from what I remember. Act 3 is short, comparatively. Act 4 is pretty short, too. Act 1's probably my favorite, though. Alrighty. I don't know if we'll keep playing that one on stream. Just wanted to try out Warlock. Who knows? But Monday we'll probably stream again. Start something. Maybe something new. Want to have a good chill time checking that out. All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.